Hackers and hackerettes, welcome to a new cybersecurity video. In this one, we're going through HackTheBox vaccine machine. So I already done this machine before because I wanted to record, but then the recording got corrupted for some stupid reason. So I'm gonna guide you through the entire thing and how to hack it for the first time. But yeah, I have already solved it. That's why we have all of these things, but I'm going to guide you through it. I already went ahead and connected to our starting point VPN. And we are going to go to labs right here and then go to HackTheBox. And we do have a vaccine here, which I'm going to show you the results of everything that we did. And then we will go through the machine together in order to get it from scratch. Actually, I'm not going to show you these. We're going to do vaccine encore. Vaccine encore. And we're going to start from scratch together. So that way it is as if it was brand new to us. So we have our machine address. Let's ping it just to make sure everything is good to go. We are good to go. Now, our very first question is, besides SSH and HTTP, what other service is hosted on this box? So the way we can figure this out is we could just run an nmap scan, but nmap takes a little bit of time. So the very first option is to do rust scan. And then I'm pretty sure it's stack A for address. And then you just give it the IP. And then every command we're going to run, I'm going to pass into T. So this is a pipe operator. And then T, and I'm going to say like what this is, so rustscan.log. Now what T is going to do is that every output that's going to come out of this command that we're running is going to get also added to the file that is called rustscan.log. So if I run this, we immediately or almost immediately get 21, 22, and 80. And with these logs, with these results, we can run nmap only on these three ports. So 21, 22, and 80, we already know that SSH is running on 22, HTTP is on 80, so 21 is FTP. So this is pretty easy to know, but it is also good to run nmap, and we're going to do that. So let me show you. If I do ls now, you can see we have rustscan.log. This is the file that was created from the T command. So if I do a cat, you can essentially see the output right here. I recommend reading log files with cat like this, because if you do a vim, like try to read the raw data, you're gonna get like the color codes and stuff like that very encrypted, or not encrypted, but like in the raw format instead of the cool color representation on the terminal. But you're gonna get your results right here anyway, so if you don't care, you can just do that. Or the more pretty thing is just to do cat, and that way it can interpret the colors and the codes correctly. Anyway, we do have our logs here, so we do have 21, 22, and 80. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run nmap and then tag sv and sc on our IP address, and then I'm going to add EP, which for port 21, 22, and 80. So that way it's going to run nmap on this. Maybe instead of sc, we can do sa. And then we're going to pass this t to nmap.log as well. So that way every output coming from nmap, you requested a scan type which requires root privileges. I'm pretty sure it's SA. So let's change it to SC. Yeah. So SA needs root privileges, which I do not care much about. Like in this specific scenario, we do not care much about what's going on there. So we do get the results pretty quickly. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see what's up. And yes, I do have light mode on. Please don't hate me, but I think just light mode is better for my eyes at least. So we have 21 FTP is open, and we do have anonymous FTP login allowed. So keep that in mind. We did that before in multiple boxes together where we have anonymous login allowed. And then we already actually have the file that exists on the FTP here. So nmap went ahead and tried to log in as anonymous. It succeeded, and it did an ls, or like a directory. And we do have a backup.zip file, which we're going to get into soon. We have SSH, and then we have HTTP right here running Apache. All of them are pretty cool. Next is the service can be configured, or this service can be configured to allow login with any password for a specific username. What is that username? It is anonymous. So this is a dead giveaway that we should probably FTP into it. So I'm gonna FTP into there. The name is going to be anonymous. It's gonna ask for a password. I'm just gonna press enter. So there is no password. And then we do have the backup.zip file right here. I'm gonna do a git on that backup.zip. That is gonna download that zip file on our PC. Now, when you try to actually unzip this backup.zip file, you can see that it is expecting a password. So to do that, or to actually get it, I'm gonna make a directory called backup, and then I'm gonna move backup.zip into the backup folder. That way we can just focus on hacking or trying to fetch the zip folder or the zip file right here. So the way to do that, let's continue with the task because it's the name of the downloaded file. It is backup.zip. Okay. The next thing we need to do is that what script comes with John the Ripper toolset and generates a hash from a password protected zip archive in a format to allow for cracking attempts. Essentially, if you don't have John, which is John the Ripper, so here we can just do version, but you can immediately see that John is enabled and we do have John installed. You can do sudo snap install John the Ripper, and then from there you will gonna get John as a utility, but you will not have zip2john installed, which is something that threw me off a bit when I was starting. So the way to execute it, at least on my WSL, is john.zip2john, and then it is why is this not working? It should have worked essentially. Whoops, let me check why is this not working. Am I on WSL? Yes, I am on WSL. So zip2john is the utility that is going to convert this into so it is John zip2john. I want to see if it the correct syntax, because essentially it is a part of John the Ripper, like the entire entire executable, which is essentially a way for us to have John like help. Or I don't think it's help. So John, and then we just need to run oh, there it is. It is the full. Yeah, this is it. So it is John tag Ripper and then .zip2john. This is how we can run the zip2john on WSL if you installed it through Snap. If you're on Kali Linux, you can just run zip2john, and it is a standalone or maybe just a symlink, but it is like a command you can run on your own or on its own. But here we can have John the Ripper and then .zip2john, which is going to be the exact same thing. And then I'm going to pass in backup.zip, and then to the output, I'm just going to do a greater than sign, which is essentially like a redirect operator. And then I'm going to say backup.john. And you can see here that we essentially converted, if we cat backup.john right here, you can see it converted the zip file into a John specific hash. And using John now, we can call John on backup.john itself. And then you can see that it cracked one password hash in there. And if we do a cat on this, the password is probably this. Actually, we can just do probably tac show. Is that a thing? And yes, there it is. This is the password. Okay. And then using tac show here is going to show you the password when you crack the thing. And what we can do right now is essentially unzip backup.zip, the original file, paste in the password. Oh, password incorrect. Did I copy the wrong thing? Let's do it again. And there we go. So perhaps I had the wrong thing copied there. So we do have the files right here. Now, if I do index.php, I just open it in Vim. We can immediately see that we do have a username admin and then a password right here. But the password is an MD5 hash. So our next job is, of course, to hack this MD5 hash and see if we can get the raw value of it. So you can see here that the whatever password you get or you post in is converted to an MD5. So is there a way that we can convert this MD5 hash to string? If you've been following along my videos, you will immediately know that there is definitely a way to do that, and it is crackstation.net. We can just paste that in, make sure or let them make sure that you are not a robot, crack hashes, and just like that you immediately get the password, which is QWERTY789. So let's copy that. Let's echo this to admin password.log, and from there we can just do admin password.log, and we're going to get QWERTY789, which is just a way for us to store information regarding here. Now I'm actually going to move this one folder above because we don't need the backup anymore, and we are going to keep the admin password right here in the main folder of the folder right there. So our answer to this is zip to John, and then we are going to get the admin password, which is QWERTY789. Cool. Now, time for us to actually visit the website that is hosting this admin panel. So I'm going to write Chrome over there, which is going to open a Chromium window from WSL. So that way I have a, where is it? So that way I do have access to Chrome. It's not working right now. Everything goes wrong when you're recording, I swear. When I was solving this on my own, everything just went smooth. But now because I'm recording, everything is just broken. Oh boy. So I honestly don't know what's going on. I'll figure it out and come back to you. Okay, we're back again. And in here, we finally solved, or I solved the problem. It was a problem with my WSL. Anyway, I will go ahead and copy the IP, log in here, and then you can see we already have admin and the password is QWERTY789. And we are able to log in here. Now, the very first thing that jumps at us is the search bar right here. And then you can see I already tried to do some SQL injections on it. And if we do that, you can see that we do have, I don't know if you can see it here, but we can see an SQL statement trying to be run whenever we add an apostrophe, which immediately suggests that we do have SQL injection in place. And this is actually all we need from Chrome because we're not going to be using the browser again. So what we're going to do here is now we know that this is vulnerable to SQL injection. We're going to use a tool called sqlmap in order to allow us to do SQL injection, but we could even make it something else. We could make it give us a reverse shell connection because this is running Postgres. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to labs and then HTTP or HackTheBox and then vaccine encore or encore. I'm going to go Chrome, and I forgot about something. I'm going to go back to this IP address and I'll show you why. Let's log in again, QWERTY789. And what I'm going to need is I'm already logged in. So we are going to need the cookie for the login because we need the PHP session ID and our value because this value is what keeps us logged in. I'm going to keep this open because through my testing, I found that when you close the Chrome browser, and close this, is actually destroys the session and you need to re-log in. So that way we need to keep it open so we stay actually logged in. Now, the way we're going to do that is we're going to do nmap. Sorry, not nmap, sqlmap. And then in sqlmap, what we're going to do is we're going to type the URL for tag q, and then HTTP, and then we're going to grab this, but we want to include, we have double HTTP here, we want to include the search param. So how do I know this? If I search for tests right here, you can immediately see, we can actually just copy this and paste it in as the URL here. So what this is going to do is when we add tag p for param, we could do search, which means we're telling the SQL map that you want to test the search param for SQL injectability, if that's even a thing. So it's going to test if the search param will allow us to do SQL injection. Now, while we have this, we could actually pass in OS shell, which is going to try to SQL inject. And after that, it's going to try to give us an operating system shell on the SQL injection. Now, it's going to say that, and this is one of the things that I want to grab your attention to, it's going to say that it caused a redirection. Why is that? That's because we are not logged in. And of course, we want to be logged in. So the way to do this is we're going to pass the cookie flag, and then we are going to make it equal. And then the name of the cookie is PHP sys ID or session ID. And then let's paste in or copy the value and paste it in. With this, now you'll notice it's not going to tell you that it wanted to redirect. That means we are using this cookie successfully to act as our logged in user right here, which is needed for us to access the search page. So the search page you cannot access without being logged in. And then we needed SQL map to be logged in. And that's why we give it the session ID cookie right there. So this is something that will probably throw you off if you're not aware of how like websites and cookies and sessions work. So something to keep in mind. Now, it says here that it looks like backend DBMS or database management system is PostgreSQL. Do you want to skip test payloads? Yes, we want. So just click enter. So do you want to include all tests? Yes, sure. So just like click enter and whatever. Usually the default values are super cool or like okay. And then you'll notice that it's trying to do its thing. It's trying to try different things to inject and hack the search parameter. It says that unable to connect to target, but then it retried on its own. I'm not sure why the connection was dropped here. We'll see. Maybe this little white is hard to read here, so I'm sorry for that. So get parameter is vulnerable. Do you want to test for others? No, which is also the default. Now you'll see that the backend DBMS is PostgreSQL, which is cool. And testing of current user is DBA, retrieved, and then immediately we have the OS shell. This is very cool because we passed in the OS shell flag in our SQL map. So actually we do have SQL, we do have like full shell execution here. So if I write ls, you can see that we have the output of operating system. Now, the way to progress here, which is something that I got stuck on for a bit, the best way to progress here is to actually gain SSH access to the server. So the way to do that is we could cd into var www.html, and from there we could do cat index.php. So the way this works is that we are gonna cd into this. It says no output. Okay. So let's do ls maybe. And you can see that we have base global. I think it's lsing in there. Maybe we need the double and. Yeah, double and is the correct way to do it. So you can see here that we do have this, and then we do have an index.php here. So what we can do, scat var www.html, and then index.php. Let's see if this gets us the output that we want. And there we go. We do have session start. And then we have the password, which is, looks like this is the index.php that we actually got from the backup.zip file that we were able to download on the FTP. So it looks like nothing new there. If we go to the top here, we do have also dashboard, and then we have background, we have style. So this is essentially the thing that is running the current app that we have in the background right here, which is cool. No problem whatsoever there. Now, the idea here is that we're trying to gain access to the database. Now, we know that there is a way that this application is accessing the database because this search is going through the database, right? So that means that there is a database and there is a database connection that we can use. And we can see that it is in dashboard.php. So what we should do is actually, instead of catting index.php, we should cat dashboard.php. So let's see what we're going to get right here as results. We have no output for some reason. Let's try it again, and no output. Okay. Why is this? Let's find out. Do I have it written incorrect? This is weird. This should give us the output of dashboard. Let me copy this. Maybe I have it wrong. Let's do cat var www html dashboard.php, and we're gonna get no output. Okay. Let's try vim, which probably, yeah, it's probably not gonna work. What could we do here? What we could do is do a reverse shell. Yes, I know I solved that before, but I actually do not remember what I did. Which is cool. It's like as if I'm going through it blind again. But we could probably do a reverse shell. And let's grab netcat. Let's see if that gives us anything. So we can do cyber, whatever. We don't care about that. Let's copy this and then listen here. And then we could copy this, not emoji. So copy this. And then we could remove everything right here. Copy this. Yes, let's see if we get a connection. We do not get a connection. Looks like NC is not enabled. Okay, let's see if curl is working. Curl usually works when there's a web server. And connection received. Awesome. So essentially we could... Oh, maybe the curl is not like a two-way. I don't see the output over here, which is interesting. Let's see what kind of ref shell we could execute that could give us access to this thing. Maybe ncat tag C could work. And let's do this. So no output. Nope. The tag E work. Maybe we should try SH. No connection. Let's try SH maybe. I don't think we're gonna have ZSH over there. So maybe bash and do this, and we got no output. Okay, I actually do not know why these are not working as they should be. Let's try cat again, var www html, and then dashboard.php. So this thing is very unstable, the OS shell that you're gonna get here for some unknown reason. I don't know what this bash 5 is. I actually never tried it. Let's see if that does anything. No, we get no results here. All right. I'm pretty sure one of these should work, but I just don't know which one. OpenSSL. Maybe OpenSSL could work. And we did get a connection, but it just died on us. Okay. Not Perl, not this. PHP. Yeah, we do have PHP. So let's see if that works. And no output. Okay. So we did not get any connection as well. And let's see if that works. No output. And it is trying to use like these sockets to do something. So I'm guessing that the sh function here is not available to maybe our current user, like the Postgres user. Oh boy. Yeah, so perhaps that is the problem. So let's cd there into var www.html and then do an ls. And we still get our, like we still go back to the same default user. So let's do ls stack la on this var www.html. Let's see if we can maybe write, oh, everything belongs to root, which is a problem. And you can see that the dashboard.php is not, well, it is readable though by everybody, which means we could essentially just cat it, but I don't know why it's not working. Dashboard.php, I mean, looks okay to me. var www.html and then dashboard.php. Yes, do you want to retrieve command A? No output. I don't understand why I was able to read index but not dashboard, because both of them have the same exact permissions. So what did I do different here? Cat var www.html index with php. This worked pretty well, but for some reason the dashboard is not working. I am stunned right now. I actually do not know why this would be the case. Which is super stupid for me, because even dashboard, like you could say that is the file size, but you can see here that dashboard is actually lower or less than index.php, and both of them have the exact same permissions. But the problem is we cannot write a file in here, because you can see here we can read and execute, but we cannot write. So I cannot like add the PHP file that has a reverse shell, for example. So our job here is to still like maybe cat maybe let's do grep and let's see what happens. So dashboard.php, and then in the grep here, let's just do a password. Let's see if that works. No output. Okay, I'm just gonna exit because I do think this is an error somehow in the connection here. So whenever you run sqlmap again, it's not gonna try. It already knows that this is vulnerable and knows how to hack it. So it does not need to like redo all the tests again. So you can just quit and come back. Again, it says No output. Yeah, so dashboard the PHP. I mean, if we go here, it is dashboard the PHP, like literally. So cat dashboard the PHP, no output. Okay, let's do ls and let's see what we have access to where we are right now. Or maybe let's do var www html and cat dashboard of PHP. I do not know why this would be any different. Yeah, it's not. Let's try it with index, see if it works. This is insane. I don't know why this would be the case. I'm actually like super confused right now. Why would dashboard not work but index works? So the no output here means probably there's an error that is showing, but it's not being like processed to us. So we're probably reading std out and not std error, like standard output and not standard error. Which there is actually a way for us to do that. Wait, now that I'm thinking about it, there is a way for us to do like echo out std error. So Linux, run a command and pipe std error into or to std out. So this is probably the way, which is exactly what I did, right? This method works on all Linux shells, including bash, sh, and zsh. So 2 and then and 1. So that means let's try 0. Is that even a thing? Well, we do not have any output, which is crazy, but let's do HTML dashboard, no output. So yeah, this is still not working. It's piped and standard output is piped to T as its standard output. To file. Now I want to get it to the output command. Okay, so log file. Let's try this and then do this. Connection reset, sqlmap is going to retry. Do we have the log file here? Did it create it? Log file, it did. Let's see what we got. No output. Does that mean it's empty? Let's try it with index.php. No output, and then if we cat log file, no output. Interesting. So yeah, anything that has an error, it just command standard output Postgres. sqlmap os shell echo out std error. Maybe there's a way that sqlmap would actually do something. This is vaccine itself. Okay, let's go back to our reverse shells. I'm pretty sure that these reverse shells are like one of them is gonna work eventually, because we need to get out of this stupid shell no matter what. I'm thinking about even using PHP, not PHP, sorry, MSF Venom, which is from Metasploit. RCat, RustCat. I don't think RustCat is installed on this machine, so let's try ncat. Maybe it works. No output. Interesting. Bash 5. No output. So I'm still listening here, right? Yeah, I am still listening. So bash read line. I'm gonna go through each one of them if I have to, probably. See if that's a thing. No output, okay. Bash read line, bash 5, UDP. Is that a thing? No output. Let's try NC, which is neckout. Probably not gonna work. Oh! It did work. Nice. Okay. So we got it. We got it actually from make FIFO. Okay. So let's go to cd HTML and then let's cat dashboard the PHP. There we go. I have no idea why this is so hard to do. I think the machine is broken, honestly. But anyway, if we look here, we can see that we do have a connection for Postgres and password, right? Let's take notes from these. I do have my notepad open already. So we can just grab these. And then we have the PG connect or the database connection here to go to Postgres and then password. So what we could do right now is we could use these to connect to SSH. So we could do SSH and then Postgres at the IP address right here. Yes, and then let's write the password. And there we go. We do have SSH connection into the server. Finally, so cat 11 is a directory. If we go in there, we do have main. And then main is a directory. And so this is like Postgres stuff that we do not care about. And then we could cat user.txt, which is going to give you your user flag. You can copy this and then paste it into here. So the user flag. And then if we do sudo tag L and then it requests for the password, we do have the password already. Paste it. And then you can see that we can run VI into the, like VI, this specific file. So this command, if we run it as Postgres, we are gonna run it as sudo. And this is our way of doing priv-esc or privilege escalation on this machine. So here it has a question before we root the machine. What program can the Postgres user run as root using sudo? It is VI. We already know this because it has been VI when we run sudo tag L, okay? So we are going to run this. So I'm gonna copy, run this, and then you can see that if we are in VI. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set shell equals bin sh, right? And then shell, and you can see now if I do who am I am Postgres, okay? That's because I did not run it as sudo, which is my bad. If I go back to this, I should exit probably. Yes, let's exit from here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run this as sudo. So now if I run this as sudo, we're going to do the exact same thing. So colon set and then shell equals bin sh, and then colon and then shell. If we do that, now I am root, and I could escape out of vi using the permission as root, and then we can go to /root ls, and then we have the root.txt, and you can copy the root flag and then paste it here, and you will own the machine. So this is a quick run through. I say quick, but it's not really quick, but it is as quick as possible going through the vaccine machine. It is not an easy machine. It is not a straightforward machine. Even the questions do not like lead you directly into the hacking thing. I'm not sure how you should have known that you could use the MySQL connection, or sorry, the Postgres connection to use it in SSH. I just did that trying because I just ran out of ideas, honestly. So I just remembered that we do have SSH open by checking our nmap scan. It's gonna tell you that SSH is open. So then using that, I tried to log in, and the only user that came in mind is Postgres, and using that, I just connected to it. So if there is like a better way or something that I did wrong, let me know in the comments below. Maybe there is something that I'm missing or some information that I do not have. So let me know in the comments, and yeah, thank you for watching. I will get to another video later on. Leave a subscribe, leave a like, and all of that cool stuff. See ya.